Hello everybody, this is Nikki again, working CPA mom and co-owner of Terra Business Solutions. Over the last couple of days, I've had several clients ask me what their options are, what resources are available to them during this time of crisis. And as you all know, the government has provided many things in terms of resources on how to help the American people and small businesses during this coronavirus pandemic. And in light of me wanting to continue to educate my clients and continue to help them make sense of all this information that's coming at them, I'm going to talk today about the Paycheck Protection Program. And so my primary intention for this video is to help you better understand what the Paycheck Protection Program is, what it means for you, and then how you go about utilizing this resource and how you go about applying for the funds that are available. So I'm going to start with what is it? What is the Paycheck Protection Program? This Paycheck Protection Program did come with the coronavirus stimulus bill, the CARES Act, that was recently signed. The primary purpose of this program is really just to give those small businesses some direct incentive to keep their workers on payroll. So the primary purpose of this program is to keep money in the American people's pockets, which in turn will help stimulate the economy and keep it afloat as best we can. So who is this program for? I'm happy to say that this program does encompass a large number of people and businesses. So primarily, it encompasses anybody who has less than 500 employees. But in addition to that, it also includes sole proprietors, independent contractors, self-employed individuals, private non-for-profits, veteran organizations. A lot of people are included in this, and that makes me really, really happy because when they started talking about different resources and programs, the first thing that came to my mind was, what about the independent contractors? What about those that are self-employed? Are they going to be able to have the same resources as others? And I'm happy to say that yes, they are. So that's a huge group of people in our country, the sole proprietors, the independent contractors, the self-employed. So I'm really happy to hear that this program does include them as well. Now, if you're in an industry and you employ more than 500 employees, there are certain industries that can potentially qualify for this resource. It's just that if you have more than 500 employees, you may have to meet some additional standards. And there's more information available about this on our social media platforms. And, if you want to, speak with somebody in more detail about it, please feel free to reach out to us and we can do our best to help you navigate the waters on that. So moving on, how do you go about applying for this? So if you are in that bucket of people that are initially eligible, I highly recommend that you go out and apply for this loan as soon as possible, because there is going to be a very high volume of people applying for this resource, and that's going to take some manpower and some time to get through all of that. And so I highly recommend that you apply now and you apply quickly, because the sooner you apply, the higher up you are on the queue, the sooner you're going to find out how much funds are available for you. So how do you go about applying? Well, you can start right now by going out to the SBA website and downloading the application. I did a quick review of it. It looks relatively simple, relatively straightforward. It's about 2 pages long, asking a lot of just basic company information. There is a bit of supplemental information that you have to provide, like what was your historical payroll and some historical costs that they ask you for. But for the most part, the application is relatively straightforward and relatively quick from my initial review. you can go and apply to any existing SBA lender or any federally insured depository agency, aka a bank, any federally backed bank or credit union or federally backed farm credit system. Any of those institutions, I believe the number was like there's like 1,800 approved institutions out there. So should be able to find one in your location to assist you with this. Now tomorrow, April 3rd, is the day that they have marked for the beginning of the loan processing. So if you can apply and have your application in there waiting by tomorrow, the processing will begin. And then again, I can't stress enough how much I really want people to go out and apply for this loan, because I really think that it will be a godsend and a savior for many. In addition to just making the funds available, this program also has some really awesome details in terms of it's got a super low interest rate. The interest rate is 0.5%. Payments are deferred for the first 6 months, so you get your money and you don't even have to make any payments for the first 6 months. It's got a relatively short maturity. The maturity is set at 2 years, and it's highly likely that these loans will be fully forgiven anyway. The details on that and the exact requirements and things like that haven't been spelled out yet, but it's a high probability that these loans will be fully forgiven, and you won't have to pay them back anyway. Let's see. The institutions are not allowed to charge any fees, so it's basically a free application process. The government agencies and the lending institutions are not allowed to charge any fees for this, so there's no fees associated with this loan, and you do not have to put up any collateral or make any personal guarantees. None of that is required as well. So this is definitely a great resource that I think the government has implemented. I think it will be very helpful to many, many people in our society and in our country today. So I hope that helped you get a better understanding of some of the primary points behind the Paycheck Protection Program. So just to recap and just to summarize, apply for this loan. Even if you're unsure if you qualify, I say fill out the application and apply anyway, because the worst that's going to happen is they're just going to deny you and say no. Well, that's better than not applying and then wondering if you could have qualified for some of this money. Apply even if you're unsure. The majority of the people are going to qualify anyway, so just apply and see what you can do. You can get up to $10 million to cover your payroll costs. So primarily the purpose is to cover payroll costs, but you can also use it for rent payment, mortgage interest payments, and utilities. So some of those very essential business operating costs that we all have, this money and these funds can provide for us. Go to any federally insured bank or credit union, get your application in and get the process rolling. And then again, no loan fees are associated with it. No collateral is needed. We got a very low interest rate. Payments are deferred for the first 6 months. It's a very short maturity date of 2 years, but it's highly likely that the loans will be forgiven anyway. And that's it. If you have any additional questions, if you want some more details, we'll provide some additional resources and some various links to good resources on the Paycheck Protection Program on our social media platforms. If you're interested in connecting with myself or another CPA to talk about the application itself, you have questions on the actual application, or where do I get this number, or where do I get that figure, or how do I find this, please feel free to reach out to us, and we will be happy to help in any way that we can. Thank you so much for your time today, and good luck.